Everything is a process, including waking up to these transcendent or more emergent states.
Yeah.
And then what you get then is like this really, it's then suddenly our individuality, the fact that I'm Tim and with all my quirks and all my brokenness and history and all that happens to make me, and you and all yours. It's a beautiful thing. It's like the universe has arisen with this exquisite individuality,
right,
meeting itself in relationship on all these levels. Biological can be pleasure, but it can be pain and suffering, and then the psyche, which also can be delight and insight, but also can be suffering. And then from that, the universe is starting to go, oh, I'm a one.
Yes, waking up to itself.
And then suddenly, and that's what I mean when I said at the beginning about the unividual, that rather than this vision of enlightenment, which arose, I think probably around 1500 years ago, and I think people were having this experience probably for the first time ever, and wanting to escape, because life is hard. You know, it's like
much harder then,
and very hard then. You know, your lifespan is short. The diseases are horrible. There's no dentists. You know, can you imagine just that? You know,
flushing toilet.
No flushing toilets, and most of your kids will die. So you know, it's like what's not to get away from.
Sure.
As well as all the amazing things. But you see this with this philosophy, which is the one I think we're questioning.
Yes.
It starts. But at the time, this is breakthrough. It's like, I feel grateful to these people. This is a new experience.
Absolutely.
They're doing their best to understand it. And then gradually that will move, like the Mahayana tradition after the Theravadan tradition is a much more engaged. You get the bodhisattva idea, you get the idea of coming into this and compassion rather than escaping.
Yes.
And then I feel, well, what we're discussing is the next level of that.
I agree.
And the thing which has triggered it is the new scientific mythos that the universe is a one. And it's an evolving one.
Right.
It's a process which starts very, very simple and gets richer and richer and richer and richer until it reaches us.
And that's emergence, right? Is that
emergence.
What you would call emergence?
Yeah, because it's the emergence of, and it's a term used a lot in science in different ways. It's not, you know, people have different approaches to it, but the fundamental idea is, look, there once was no matter.
Right.
And then there was matter. There once was no life, and then there was life. There was once no complex multicellular systems, and then there was once no psyche, and then there was. And there was once no conscious people. There was no systems, human beings, are capable of being conscious of the oneness.
Right.
And then there is. And that feels like the leading edge, so that spiritual awakening ceases to be an escape from the illusion of samsara and maya, or whatever you call it, the devil's playground, which is all understandable. I think that we thought that. It's just like, we thought that hundreds of years ago. Let's think differently. Now, this process is it.
Right.
And these things are the leading edge. And what the hell happens when enough people start to realize, I am Tim, but I'm Tim in relationship, I am the whole as Tim in relationship to itself. And suddenly there's this connectivity and this compassion and this love.
Yes, and the benevolence we talk a lot about. And for me, that's where it kind of went from oneness to unity. And there's a huge difference between that because...
Oh, that's interesting.
I think because with oneness, you think more of one. And unity is bringing two things together into a whole.
Oh.
But if there, you know, how can you have oneness without two things to unite into oneness?
Oh,
right?
That's interesting.
And so I think what we experience, you know, together and through your philosophy and these retreats with the eye gazing and everything, we're having a unitive experience, which is the relationship between the one and itself. So that we're one and two, and joining that together into that whole, that's unity. And I think what I used to experience, and I think I tried to explain this once, was that I felt like I was having these experiences of being one with everything. But I wasn't. How could I be one with everything if I was no longer there? And you said once, you can't have oneness by getting rid of yourself, because then that's oneness with a hole in it. And I just loved that so much. So now the idea of being one with something means that I get to be me, one with you who's also you, but with that underlying sense that we are, as you said, that oneness or the universe has risen up as two in order to relate to itself. And when it sees that, when it has that self-realizing moment as we're looking at each other, that's the huge love. And that, I mean, that's been sort of the second coming or the second or third awakening. I don't know at what point it is
third
now.
awakening, I like that. Because that's what's so amazing, I think, about the states we've been in at the retreat, is you just see all of these different people connecting, and in that connection, where the two is made one, the two is made one, but it's still two.
Right.
And you see the two-ness. It's like, oh, you're
Yes.
you, and it's different connecting with you than it is connecting with this person
Right.
here who's a 78-year-old man,
right.
or this person who's a whatever. And so it's different, and yet also.
I like to see it as different expressions of the universe, or whatever you want to call it. We talk about God or the absolute, but that we are that, but we're all unique, individual, distinct expressions of that. You can't separate it from that, but you also can't reduce it.